We are moving towards the final talk of today's session by Mr. Umer Khan, Head Investment Banking, Bank of Punjab. Please come on the stage and share your views from the banker's perspective.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Minister Sahiba, distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Umer Khan. I head investment banking at the Bank of Punjab. There have been some fantastic talks already, so I wouldn't want to dwell upon a lot of the things which have already been discussed, but I would just like to spend a few minutes to discuss the banking sector's perspective on this. A lot has been said about what is wrong and how do commercial financiers, how do commercial banks look at things. I cannot emphasize enough the significance of the sponsors who are going to undertake the project, especially since this seems to be a revival of sorts for the province of Punjab insofar as the PPP initiative is concerned. I think it's very important that for the first few projects since this revival, the sponsors that are brought on board as part of the process need to be absolutely top-notch to exude the kind of confidence that will be required when it comes to financing by the commercial banks. Again, some of the things which are important is that the sponsors or their management team need to have the right kind of expertise available to them. Track record has to be there in terms of delivering on successful projects before they reach this initiative. And very importantly, because at the end of the day, commercial banks will take a view on the amount of equity, both base equity as well as contingent equity that is supposed to be provided. So sponsors need to be good for the money, which means that their net worth, or if they are bringing corporate structures, they need to be good enough for the amount of equity that will be required. The role of advisors also cannot be understated. A lot has been said about it already. I think if I can just pinpoint one single thing out of all of the things that I'm going to talk about, or my other distinguished speakers that have already spoken about, it will be to have the support of the right kinds of advisors who have the right kind of experience, whether it's financial, technical or legal. Just before this event formally kicked off, I was speaking to Minister Saab, and I can confidently say that there is enough expertise available in the hall, whether on the private sector side or on the public sector side. And I think with the kind of leadership focus that we are seeing from the government now, I think the magic is going to happen. I think in terms of the concessionary framework, a lot has been said already, so I wouldn't spend a lot of time. But I think the right kinds of indexations and the right kinds of escalations during construction and operations phases are going to be important. Again, Asif Saab spoke about this already, so that's important. In terms of bankable structures, I think it's very important because this is effectively cash flow based financing. So commercial banks need to have watertight control over the cash flows that will be generated by the project. In addition, I think a lot also has been said about the kind of support, the financial support that needs to come in from the government of Punjab. And again, taking examples from more successful models, I think typically 50% of support in terms of the government of Punjab guarantee backed by the debit authority with the central bank. And on top of it, there are one or two annuity structures which are pre-funded. So this typically provides support to about 75% plus in terms of lenders' exposure. So that is something which commercial lenders typically look at, especially for the first few projects. And as the confidence grows of the private sector investors and banks, progressively the support can be chiseled away. And again, very important, I think one of the earlier speakers very rightly spoke about the fact that it has to be an equitable arrangement. The risk and reward framework has to be equitable for all stakeholders involved. It cannot be seen as siding whether the investors, or the commercial banks or the government also, but it has to be equitable. Very quickly, since I'm a commercial banker, so I think it's important to put some numbers for everybody's benefit. And I think some of the commercial investors had some sort of a complaint that bankers do not come on board. I would politely like to disagree. I think when you talk about PPP initiatives in Pakistan, whether at the federal level or at the provincial level, typically in Pakistan there are about 30 odd commercial banks, but typically only 12 commercial banks are active in this space. In terms of the amount of funding that can be made available, it's substantial. It's about 500 billion. But the largest project that has been taken, that has been financed till now, has only been about 51 billion. And we would like to suggest that, for the first few projects, funding size of 20 to 30 billion is something which the government of Punjab needs to be looking at. Yeah, so this is the last slide. What we are advising is that get the right advisors on site, please develop a bankable transaction structure. There is enough expertise available around the hall. And for the first few projects, target a project size of 20 to 30 billion. And I'm very certain that with the right structure, commercial banks, not just ourselves, as well as other commercial banks of the country will be happy to come on board. Thank you.